Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. Had a lot of fun with this movie. It definitely felt like Paramount took the Marvel formula, which is funny because Paramount was the ones that did the Marvel movies in the first place, and brought it to Dungeons and Dragons and Guardians of the Galaxy more specifically, which is funny because Guardians of the Galaxy is basically like a Dungeons and Dragon party campaign, but in space.
True, because you know you're bringing different people from all walks of life coming together for one unified thing that they need to do, which is, you know, destroy the bad guys.
A campaign. Joining forces of different calibers and characters. And this one, Chris Pine. Chris Pine is definitely my favorite in the movie. He is so sarcastic. The whole movie is very sarcastic. John Francis Daley ended up, I think, writing it, directing it, co-directing it, and it feels like it because you do have that very sarcastic humor all the way through. And for some reason, it worked really well for me in this setting.
Right. All of the characters themselves have such a unique thing about them too that they all kind of blend together very well. Of course, you know, you've got Chris Pine, who is the bard, which is great because he is very sarcastic, and some of the things that he does say, like, he bounces off of each character very well.
Sure. The dialogue is very fast paced, it's very witty, and it does have heart as well and levity, and you know, it's a Dungeons and Dragons campaign. It's basically, if you're with your friends, this is how you would act opposite each other. The music was done by Lorne Balfe. I was thinking from the trailers they were kind of going to do what the Willow series did and incorporate like modern music in there, and they could have. Then it probably would have felt more like Guardians of the Galaxy, but they don't. It's Lorne Balfe, it's a score, he has some bops in there, and the rest of it though, like there's an amazing moment with the bard that is probably my favorite moment of the entire movie, and there's other magical moments that look badass. Some of them very heavily CG, but there are some one-take shots in there that, although heavy CG, really creative and fun and is appreciated in a movie like this.
Now, we are very like beginners to the Dungeons and Dragons game itself.
Sure.
But from the time that we've kind of gotten to play around with it a little bit, there are a lot of moments in here that it was like, oh, like I remember doing that, or there were certain things that were said, you're like, ah, I see what you did there.
Sure.
So it was, and there was a lot of moments too, and I was like, oh, they rolled a bad roll on that one, or they got a really good roll on that one.
It was an enjoyable time, a breath of fresh air, although Marvel format. If that's a negative for you, it could be, depending on how you're seeing Marvel movies right now, but it does feel like a Marvel movie when it comes to the action, the CG, and the comedy and the humor throughout the whole thing. The villains were scary. There was actually quite a few jump scares in this movie, and I thought that what they did with the design of certain antagonists in this movie, it felt like they were having some of the kids in the audience want to cover their eyes because there was some scary imagery in here, but at the same time the kids were loving it because of a lot of the comic book feel that some of the characters give you, the slapstickiness, you know. It worked as a family film, but you know, those family films from when we were in the 80s and 90s where there was some imagery in there that made you want to cover your eyes. So guys, Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves, did you see it at an early screening? Let us know what you thought in the comments below. You can also like and subscribe.
And do the thing on our Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Discord.
All the social networking gin joints, you know where they are. Kick into the party, fuel the party, keep the party going on our Patreon. Check out our reactions to The Legend of Vox Machina if you want some more D&D goodness. I kept thinking of Vox Machina the whole time I was watching this too. Vox Machina, more adult, more our speed.
Yeah.
But this was a fun time too. But guys, thanks so much, and as always,
now it's time to say goodbye.
this party is over.
Bye.
Bye.